This morning, good news, coffee machine is working perfect again. I just checked the stats on my fall release on Spotify. It went from 500 to 600 plays a day to 3,500. This is really great. It's starting to pick up. And I got an email. Someone asked me to DJ abroad, which I really love. The problem was always just figuring out how much to charge. Back in the days where I was DJing a whole lot more and doing the ghost productions, I always struggled to figure out how much actually to charge, but I now figured out a system how to actually approach these things. But as always, first finishing the coffee and heading to the studio. I just love being here on Sundays. It's the only day where I don't have to take care of business stuff usually. Just trying to figure out the pricing thing for the gig and hopefully making a whole lot of music. There is one small mistake you can do and a big one. The small one is of course charging too little. You're losing out on potential money, or you could charge too much and lose the gig entirely and make nothing. The trick is kind of to find a sweet spot in between. I usually think of an amount and then just ask for a third or even half more than I was thinking about, because at the end you will still negotiate maybe 1 or 2 rounds and then it will be lower, and maybe at the end you will get exactly what you were thinking about, or maybe even more if the other part doesn't really negotiate at all. And if you realize that the other person doesn't want to pay that much, you can still lower it, but definitely don't go lower than like 2/3 or half of what you were thinking about. It's just not worth it. You could do something else instead. Giving you an exact amount of money is of course really hard. It totally depends on how known you are, how skilled you are, how many DJs there are in your city, how much competition there is. But roughly you can say maybe the amount of people times the entrance fee and then maybe a quarter of it to half of it. So if the club takes 100 people with 10 euros entrance, it's 1,000 euros, then take 250 to maybe 500. And from this amount it can vary a lot. It really depends. If 100 people just come because of you, you can take 100% of the entrance. The club still makes enough with the drinks. And if they all come just because of you, that's basically what you're worth it. And that's also why those big DJs get these big amounts of money. People come because of them. A lot of club owners, promoters might even ask you to play for free or just for free drinks or maybe for 10 spots on the guest list. I don't do these kind of things because I'm making my living with DJing and producing music, so I refuse doing that. But when I started, where I didn't really have any experience DJing, I took those opportunities as much as I could, because it's training for free, you get drinks, a bit of fun, and you learn how to play in front of people. This is very important. The more you can learn, the better. But you then just have to find the right time to start charging for your DJing. I'd say for DJing in a bar, you should get at least 50 bucks, maybe 100, 150. It really depends on the bar and how nice the people are actually. Here in Germany, or especially in Berlin, there are so many DJs you can be happy to play just for the drinks. And in Berlin, even bigger DJs play just for a quarter. It's so crowded, there's so much competition. It's impossible to get the full price in Berlin. Whenever you're DJing abroad, I would definitely charge a little bit more, because you have to count in the travel time. You have to get there. If you have to fly 1 or 2 times to get there and then stay there overnight and fly back, you're basically working for the gig 24 hours, which is time that you're losing that you could use in your studio. And it also looks weird if you get paid 250 euros for your gig and the flight and hotel is also 250. So try to charge a bit more whenever you're outside of your country. But no matter what you do or what you charge, be fair to the people. For example, if the club is empty entirely, you can't charge them 1,000 euros. They won't even have that kind of money. So I usually offer them to just take half of whatever we agreed on and maybe get in return a second gig playing at the same place maybe half a year later. This way you both kind of win. You get another gig that is safe, a little bit more money, and the club owner saves a little on that evening that didn't really go well. Because if you DJ somewhere and the night is empty, it's very likely that you won't be booked again there. So by offering that, you have a higher chance to end up there again, maybe have a second chance with a night that works well, and then you will be booked again, hopefully. If you have a booking agency taking care of all of these things, you don't really have to worry about it. They will do the prices, they will take care of your flights, negotiating with the people, also making sure that the people actually pay you, and also take a share, usually like 20% of whatever you get, but they will take this amount from the promoter or club. At the end, the club promoters always have the risk that the DJ might screw up, not have a good day, or their sets are different than the music they produce or different than the mixtape that they heard on SoundCloud. So they usually tend, especially here in Germany, to book the same people all over again, every time again. It's always the same guys playing in the same clubs, because that's safe for the club owner or promoter. They don't like to take risks, and I can fully understand that. If they pay a DJ a couple of €1,000 and no one shows up, or the DJ plays a really bad set, this ruins their reputation. So getting DJ spots is quite hard, even if you have productions that get thousands of plays on Spotify or your track is being played on the radio. They still are not really likely to book you. It's something that takes a while. The only thing that gets you there faster is writing a big, huge hit, because then nobody cares about what you're DJing. People will show up because of your big hit. Picking a price for mixing and mastering is pretty easy. There are like standards. I'd say a mastering should be between 60 and maybe 120 if you do it with someone that is making a lot of mastering for big artists or is Grammy nominated. If you do a mixing, it should be like 300 to 500. I'd say that's like the standard. If you do special things or a lot of revisions, or you have a high track count, it might be even more. But I myself charge for both these things really the lowest standard that's available, where you can still promise the people to do something good. If you're interested in that, the link is down below in the description. And now back to making music, and after that we will get to picking prices for productions, doing ghost productions for other people. That's also kind of tricky. It's now almost 4. I think that's enough with making music and annoying the neighbors. And unfortunately, I had quite a lot of CPU overload. The closer I get to finishing the project, the more stuff is in it, and the more my computer starts striking. The fans are again all up. So when it comes to the pricing for producing a track for someone else, I would never, ever, no matter if you just start producing or not, go underneath of 500 euros. If you do it for less, there's no way you will make a plus at the end. You could do another job with the minimum wage and just get more, because making a track takes, I think, at least like 15-20 hours, depending on the style and how much effort you put into the track and if it has vocals or not. But don't do it ever for less than 500 euros. Because at the end you have to think about this as a business. You're a producer, you offer a service, you need to charge for it accordingly. You have to pay your studio, your equipment, your time. Maybe you have employees, they also need to be paid. And all of this you have to count together and then divide kind of by the tracks that you make per year. And of course at the end you also want to have some money for yourself. So I'd say for a track like 500, really the minimum if you're doing it for hobby. But usually it should be like 1,500, and it can go up all the way to whatever people pay for you. Because just think about it, you could just finish a track, put some random artist name on top of it, release it on Spotify, and get a decent amount of plays if the track is good, and keep 100% to yourself. So why should you sell someone else a track for less than that what you could achieve yourself? Always keep that in mind. Also, never do a production for someone else based on a share. If someone promises you 50% of whatever they make for you making the track for them, that's usually a bad deal if the person isn't really big, famous and known. But the big, famous, known persons, they already have their producers, otherwise they wouldn't be there. So don't do a split share thing. No matter what they promise you, probably they won't deliver, and at the end you will get 50% of basically nothing. They will deduct the promotion cost, the label is taking 50%, and then the track might not even sell really good, they might not promote it even. So don't do it, because as long as they don't have to invest just to get the track, they will just release it and see what happens, and at the end you won't get anything. I honestly don't know how it works with doing beats and hip-hop music, R&B music, but also there I think you should just sell your beat to the rapper, to the artist, and you will still get a share from the copyright. That's just by law. At least in Germany there is no way you can sell your copyright. So if the track gets played on the radio, you will get your share definitely, no matter what happens. No one can take that away from you. And you might even agree on a share of the track and still get your fee for making it. That might be the best if you do it for someone where it looks promising. Do you hear that? That's my computer after half a day of work. Now, just heading back home. It's Sunday where it's really bad. I should probably just turn it on. Yeah, we're having guests coming over, so I need to cook for them and probably doing pizza, a whole lot of pizza, self-made pizza. The hardest part is sometimes at the end to get paid. Some people in this business refuse to pay or try to pay just less for some stupid reasons. If you're working with someone for the first time, always ask for the money up front, at least half of it. If you do abroad DJ gigs, try to ask for the full amount up front. You might never see it again. So that's basically it for today. Pizza time. Pizza!